Okay, we're joined now by senior NBA insider Chris Haynes. What's up, Chris?
Key.
So, Chris,
My man.
do you believe that Steve Kerr is right about what he just said about Steph?
He has a legitimate argument. I would say that. You know, similar to Shaq. When we're talking about GOAT, we're talking about somebody who typically transcends the game, somebody who can elevate the game and then have millions mimic his game, as we've seen in AAU and the youngsters coming up. But, you know, when you talk about that GOAT, you talk about somebody who's probably been the best player in the league. This is the way I look at it. He's probably been the best player in the league for about a decade. So does Stephen Curry have that claim? Could he say that he was the MVP guy, a number one guy for 10 years plus? We can say that with Michael Jordan. We could say that with LeBron to an extent. Does Curry, this is my estimate, this is just me, can you say Steph Curry has been 1, 2, 3, one of the greatest players each season for 10 plus seasons?
One of the greatest or the greatest?
Well, listen, it's argumentative.
I would say, you played in the NBA, y'all both covered it, and I watched it a long time. It's close to 10, right? As one of the best in the NBA?
No, the complete best.
The complete best?
Like Jordan, we just, look at this, though. Jordan is the only one we kind of said that about. Like, there's nobody else that we said he was the complete best player for 10 years.
Man,
like,
LeBron?
We can say that for Braun.
You can't say that for LeBron?
So to give me the years.
Straight 10
From
years?
what year to what
Straight
year?
10 years?
Yeah, y'all give me the years.
2010 to 20.
2010, you got a legit argument. Yeah, you probably can say that.
Yeah.
Man, he might still be running the tab.
Yeah,
2010 to 220.
Best in that
Complete
period.
Best player in that
So-
period, probably so.
Better than Kobe. That entire 10-year stretch.
Yeah, Kobe retired what year?
16, 17?
16, 17. Yeah, I give LeBron 10. Yeah.
Yeah, you can say
Because even in that, remember, Kobe got hurt.
Last 3-4 years wasn't.
Kobe won a championship in 2010.
It started when he got to Miami.
Did he not?
That would be 2010.
Right.
Yeah.
So he started.
So that's probably that's probably right up. That's probably right up against.
That's just my assessment.
No,
And look,
understand.
Stephen Curry, best shooter of all time, somebody who's transcended the game. But to me, I look at somebody who you can say has been the top 1, 2, or 3 player in the league for 10 plus seasons. I don't know that Steph has that.
Yeah, you do. You know.
I mean, it's great.
You're just not saying it. You know.
You say it there,
You
Rick.
know, I will. Like,
Okay.
We're like in this participation
I hear you.
trophy era where like everybody gets attention. No, everybody's a GOAT. Everybody's in the conversation. Like we just did this with the Lakers all-time great. Paul Pierce has got a list of like a dozen guys that are all-time Lakers greats.
So is Curry.
I'm a little more
let's
selective.
get this straight. So is Curry the greatest shooter of all time?
Oh yeah, I'll
No
give you
doubt.
that.
No
I'll
doubt.
give you that. Sure.
All right, that's cool. I beat him in the three-point contest. So I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm just
knew you.
saying. He was in this contest.
Look at that, Chris.
Look
at
at
that.
that. There you go.
Steve
Look.
Curry
We're
in
junior
junior
high.
high.
I don't care. 2000.
He was not even shaving at that point.
That's Curry in this contest.
That's what we were getting to. That's the point you were trying to make.
It's the finals. I got him.
I can't believe you beat him. I can't believe that.
I don't care what year he was in. He was out there.
I still cannot believe that you beat Steph Curry in the three-point contest. I would have never.
Hey, look.
If somebody would have said to me,
Paul Pierce beat Steph Curry in the three-point contest.
and I would have bet on, I'd have lost.
I didn't even know that myself.
He didn't know that until right now.
Yeah, I didn't know that myself.
Here's my
what I'm
question.
saying?
So I think that what Steve was trying to say is that he said it, like he's the most unique superstar.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he doesn't have any of the size or freakish athleticism that all the other guys that he's in conversation with have. And so it's based on just his pure skill and his ability to play the game of basketball that has made him as successful as he is.
I would put Allen Iverson in there, too.
Okay, well, that's my question is,
Size, yes.
do you think he's the most skilled player we've ever seen
No,
to
Kobe Bryant
accomplish
is the
what
most
he's
skilled
accomplished?
player. Kobe Bryant is the most skilled player.
Are we talking about point guards, small
No,
guards?
we're talking about that realm of all-time great players and how they did it.
Yeah.
Is he the most skilled?
I mean,
Kobe Bryant is the most skilled player.
you put Kobe Bryant more skilled than Michael Jordan?
That's what I just asked him on the
More
sideboard.
skill.
It looked like the same thing to me.
Like Jordan had the athleticism and the stuff looked crazy when he was flipping around. But when you talk about just skills with the footwork, left, right, left, right.
And you got to remember,
It's
Kobe,
really close.
but he would know because Kobe gave him that work.
That's why I'm not going back and forth with him on that one.
I mean, Jordan is highly skilled now, but like Kobe, it's close,
It's
man.
tough.
The footwork,
But it's the same, but
Kobe's
it's
footwork,
basically
though.
the
Yeah,
same
but
thing,
Mike's
it's a
footwork,
little
come
bit.
on.
It's a duplicate, though.
You're gonna question Mike's footwork?
I'm not questioning Michael nothing. I'm just, no, I'm not. I'm never. He has nothing to do with. But I'm just saying, like skill-wise, because I guess because I wasn't on the court up close and personal. With
Okay.
it. You know, maybe that's.
I'll give you that.
You know
No,
what
it
I'm
ain't
saying?
maybe. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's probably
Michael
what it
Jordan
is.
is the GOAT. If we're talking,
I said he's the GOAT, but I'm just saying skill.
You call him with the Wizards?
Yeah, I caught him with the Wizards.
Yeah, he called him with the
yeah, that wasn't.
Yeah, that don't
yeah.
count.
Yeah,
that don't count.
That's like you
No,
with the
caught
Brooklyn
Kobe
Nets.
all
But
the
you know
way
what?
through.
Yeah.
But he was still
That was-
getting it done off of his skills. Like the athleticism was not
gone.
there anymore, but
Yeah.
he was still able to get it done. That's what was impressive to me.
Yeah. Man, it's tough. Tracy McGrady's up there too.
Yeah, I was about to throw Tracy up in there.
Like just
Yeah.
skills. Like,
Yeah.
man,
No, I'm
just,
with you.
You know, left, right. He can do it either hand. He can go either way.
But even if we're talking about a small guard, Stephen Curry, you throw Iverson.
Hey,
Hold on,
I
another guy.
even say Kyrie, though, but they say no. They just say that's what they told me. I'm just saying.
Kyrie.
I said Kyrie.
I say
You got to throw Kyrie in there.
Kyrie's in the
But also,
conversation.
don't sleep
Legit.
on Zeke. Isaiah Thomas.
Zeke,
Oh,
Come on
that's
now.
true. That's a good call.
Zeke.
That's a very good call.
So is Curry the best player that played under the rim?
Whew, man.
He's the best player to play under the rim.
I think Kyrie has to have a place in that, and I think Isaiah has to have a place in that. And if we're talking about if answering that question,
Yeah.
I'm going Isaiah.
But look what Steph's done.
I'm going with Zeke. Steph is the best shooter, period. One of the best players to move without the ball.
Yep. That's a skill.
That's a skill. That is a skill, but all-around skill set under the basket, I'm going with Zeke.
Looking over at Steph's former teammate Kevin Durant, the Suns are 2.5 games behind the Mavericks for the 10th seed and a spot in the play-in, not even the playoff, the play-in with 3 big-time players on their roster. So, Paul, how much pressure is on KD to just make the play-in?
Man, it's pressure every time KD steps on the court because, like, we're getting into an area now to where we're going to start questioning, you know, KD's legacy. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to hold KD to a certain standard. If we're going to call him one of the greatest players, probably top 10 or 20 players when it's all said and done, we have to hold him to that standard. And what he's done since leaving Golden State, it just hasn't lived up to the standard that we put him at as an all-time great player, like we do LeBron. We expect LeBron to make a push for the finals ever since he walked into the league. Now, KD, as unique as he is, we have to hold him to that standard. We say the same things about Steph, and these are the 3 guys right now. We got to hold up here because if every day we're going to be coming on these shows talking about where do they rank on the all-time list, well, what are they doing for their teams? You know, I look at KD as like, man, he's one of them guys.
Yep.
But since he's left Golden State, he really hasn't accomplished much in the postseason. And that's where you judge the superstars from the superstars, what they do in the postseason. And we just haven't seen much success. And I know he's dealt with injury, and you have to overcome that. But it's just this is an all-time low for KD to not. The league helped you out and said, we're going to put 3 more teams to give you opportunity to make the playoffs, and you don't make it then?
Let me tell you.
I don't know, man.
Let me tell you how low this is. How low this is, because I just looked this up. This would be the first time, if he doesn't make the playoffs, this would be the first time since 2010 that KD, when healthy, was not in the postseason. Now, I originally was going to say there's not that much pressure on him because it hasn't felt like he's been all that relevant in the postseason. He hasn't been with teams that make a difference. But for his legacy and for our belief that he's still relevant and moves the needle, should he go someplace else, for me, he has to make the play-in, certainly, and should be making the playoffs. And considering that Dallas is now falling out, the door is open for him to do exactly that.
You know, Chris, the way that I look at pressure is only applied to those that accept it as far as I'm concerned. And if he's falling into that feeling pressured to just make the play-in, when you got 3 big-time players, they spend a lot of money in Phoenix to make the play-in, make it. They ain't even in it yet. They fighting, scrapping with about 20 games to go to just get into the play-in. And if Kyrie doesn't go down in Dallas, then and AD ain't sidelined,
They're on the outside looking in.
they're probably on the outside looking in. And you know, I understand exactly what Paul is saying, but I'm so afraid sometimes even mention KD's name because he'll come and, you know, no, you talking about me? You know, I'm just like,
It'll make me
I'm trying to be soft with it.
It'll make me wonder if you just, if you don't have those 2 titles and go to state, it'll make you wonder where does he rank all time still.
Well,
I think we're having that conversation.
I was just saying, that's the
trying to-
conversation they do have.
Yeah, I'm about to say, they still
It ain't
trying
gonna
to
make
punish
them
you.
wonder. Like, that's the
Makes me
conversation
wonder,
they have.
like, you know, yeah, as much you said, like, how much does he make teams better? You know, he had the run in Oklahoma where they went to the finals.
Slow down, Paul.
No, but I'm just saying, like, listen, I hold KD to a high standard. You know, he's one of the all-time greats. We're going to, like I said, when he's all said and done, we're going to say he's one of the top 10 or 20 players. Because the numbers is going to say one thing. You're going to look at his skill set and say, we're never going to see nothing like this for a long time, do it at this level for as long as he did it.
Could it be such a thing, though, right place, right time, wrong place, wrong time? Because if you look at that Brooklyn...
Not at every stop. Not at every stop. Listen,
But Chris, check this out, though. Brooklyn was a mess. We all know that. Brooklyn was a mess.
But he wanted that.
Why
But he wanted that.
I understand wanting, and then it turned into something totally different.
Doesn't he have some culpability?
yes.
I'm not excusing him of that. I'm just saying when you look at it, the whole totality of everything. Well, I used a big word right there. That he had his foot on the line in the second round against Milwaukee. He had a 18 on instead of a 17, and they get bounced. Then all of a sudden, he goes to Phoenix, and they just haven't been in sync. They fire the coach. They bring in Coach Bud. They now decide they're going to run a whole nother system and do something totally different, and they just haven't caught fire. See, I still believe...
So you blaming the organizations. You blaming the Nets and the Suns.
Man, the Nets was a mess.
Okay.
Man, that thing was a hot garbage.
But he's part of the mess in Brooklyn, and he's part of the mess in Phoenix. And at the end of the day, to Paul's point, if you're going to hold him to a standard of being one of the all-time greats, you have to put him in position of responsibility to own in some of the things that have gone down in the negative
I just want to be clear. We both dark. That's Chris. I'm Keyshawn. It's Chris that's saying it, Kevin, not me. Chris is saying it.
Me and KD, we spoke. No, I'm not saying anything that's going to blemish his resume, but at the same time, if he does not make the playoffs, let alone the play-in, this is going to have, sadly, an everlasting blemish on his resume.
No, you're speaking facts.
And look, listen, you have to remember, in anything, it's what have you done for me lately? Like, if this is a stain that you can't overcome by the time your career is over with, that's what folks are going to remember. You know, that those two championships at Golden State, he was the Finals MVP both times. They needed him. He was the X factor. But what has he done since?
This is the question I have, is looking at KD and how we hold him in regard as far as his talent. When we look at his career, do we feel like he's maximized who he is as a basketball player? Or do you feel like, man, as good as he was, I would have thought he would have done more?
No, I think he's just kind of been unlucky.
That's what
You
I
know
said.
what I'm
It's
saying?
wrong place,
So it's not
wrong
on
time.
him.
Like, he's like, I mean, when you just talk about what he became and who he is, I mean, the numbers, the skill set, we're going to be talking about this probably one of the top 2 or 3 greatest scorers to ever lace him up, right? But then we're going to say, well, what was his impact on pushing the team to the finals or deep in the playoffs, or his impact on winning just alone? You know, because usually when you get KD on your team, expectations come with that. Like before the season, I was like, man, watch out for Phoenix. I had them as title contenders.
They should be.
Yeah, you got Booker, all-star, one of the promising. He might be arguably the best 2-guard in the league. KD, I mean, regardless of who else is on the team, you got that.
Since he's your boy, who do you think's had a better career to this point?
Who?
KG or KD?
KG or KD?
KG or KD?
Well, I do believe that KG has more impact on winning. You know what I'm saying? The things that he was doing in Minnesota, pushing that team to conference finals and playoffs every year, winning 50 games. His impact on winning on both sides of the ball, I would say KG.
And you have to remember, the way things are going right now, it's likely that KD will be moved in the summer.
That's what I'm...
So, again, that adds to
But how many teams is that?
exactly that adds to the legacy, that adds to how he's going to end his career.
Let's assume he is moved. Where you want to see him go? Where would be a good fit for him, Chris?
I would like to see him move to a team that has an individual who loves playing against Kevin Durant, and that is Minnesota, Anthony Edwards. Ooh. I think you put a dog around him, and then you have some nice ancillary pieces around, with a good coach, good coaching staff over there. I'm high on that. I don't know how high KD is about Minnesota, the city, but that team, I would like to see that. They tried to make a move for him at the deadline. Ooh.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.